I've seen this trending on TikTok and I thought it'd be quite funny.
Don't do a dance.
No. I'm going to make some noises and you have to copy them with your face hole. So I will make a noise and you have to try and recreate the noise with your mouth.
I hate this. Is this why you didn't tell me what the cold start was?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. It's not very clicky pen. Hang on. Right. Oh.
It was supposed to fizz, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It's not fizzy.
You're not doing very well with this.
I didn't come very prepared. No,
what's next?
I actually don't know if I am. Okay.
I had this brilliant idea that I didn't want to tell you about and didn't prepare for either.
Okay.
Oh. Can't you just do it again pretending that it was me?
No. Because I'll know.
What do you mean, because you'll know? I can't do that with my mouth.
You can.
They're all just like...
But the whole thing is that you try, and that's what makes it
trying.
Funny. Right. It's the face and the actions that you're doing as well. And you're very welcome along to the Unpopular Opinion podcast. My name is Jen.
And my name is Carla.
And
fun we have, huh?
We're so funny. So bit of an anticlimax. It's better on video, I think, when you can see the faces and stuff.
Maybe, yeah. We do stuff like that often, don't we?
Yeah, we don't really know how to translate onto a podcast, do we? This is your monthly reminder that it's the start of the month and it's the best time financially to sign up to our Patreon. So if you sign up, it's €6 a month. And you will get 5 extra episodes. 4 mini-sodes is what we like to call them. We made that up ourselves. And an extra episode with a friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
It's fun over there. Or if you just like the podcast in general, you can join our little tip jar, which is €2 a month. And that's just you saying, thanks to the pod girls.
Love that.
Love that for us. Thank
you
so much.
Love you, Dan.
What's the crack?
What's the crack? Big couple of days for me.
Yeah?
Big couple of days, yeah. You fellas in hospital.
Oh, poor child.
I know. With a thing called hypertensive crisis.
Is that what they diagnosed it with?
They call 911 is what Google says.
Right.
I was like, is this Google being dramatic? But no, it turns out it is very serious.
When you told me what his blood pressure was, I was quite...
It was 240 over 140, everyone in the GP said it was the highest that she's ever seen and sent him straight to A&E.
You went on the Wall of Fame in the GP's office.
I know. Can you imagine? Yeah. He's like, and this man here.
33 years old.
Yeah, 33 years old. Oh, God. Look at him go.
Yeah. I'm not very happy with your answer that you gave me earlier on when I said Tom is a Sagittarius.
He's not a Sag. He's a Scorp. So he is a cusp sign. It's just like, I can't say begrudger.
It's another sound. Okay, so you can't say begrudger and that's what this episode is on.
Yeah, begrudger. I can now, but I couldn't say it last night. Probably from the trauma.
Probably from the hypertensive crisis.
Yeah.
Oh, fun fact before we move on, because I will forget. If you dial 911 from your phone, your smartphone, it redirects it to 999.
Yeah, or 112. It's supposed to be 112.
Yeah.
If you have a hypertensive crisis, call 112.
You can also call 911 and your phone will know what to do.
Or you can tap your lock thing 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got caught at that a few times.
Did you?
I was trying.
Bobby.
Well,
no, it was you.
One time I couldn't find my phone in my bag and I was in the car. The car was stopped, but it was like after hitting off it, obviously, a couple of times, and it started going whoop, whoop. Actually, I'll do it here and I can cancel it because I know where it is. So this is the sound that it makes. It's terrifying. Right, so you can cancel that. Stop calling.
Stop calling that.
That's the noise it makes. It's terrifying. Or sometimes I try to, access my Apple Pay.
Yeah.
And press the button. So I don't know what happens.
Oh, and
it just starts going whoop in the middle of the shop.
You're like, I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah, but it does that because my sister learned on a course recently that kids are so used to watching American TV and YouTube videos that that's what they know what to
do
call.
it now.
Yeah.
911.
So if they're in an emergency, and there was a tragic story behind it, which I won't depress everybody with, but they were in there was a situation where children knew there was an emergency and after everything, with the investigation going on and stuff, they looked at the phone records and they were ringing 911. And that's how they got through to emergency services because it redirected it.
That's good.
It's on a lighter note. It's so smart of a smartphone. Like it's great that it does that.
It's like you're hardly going to be like on the floor being like, kids.
Yeah,
it's 112.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
No, but yeah. So that's no, but yeah. So yeah, Jen went and saw him.
I went and saw Tom. I have access to his little room. He's in a very special room.
Yeah, he's on fucking 24-hour observation.
He has a little screen outside it and all.
So, guys, if you're feeling weak, nauseous, migraine, motion sicknessy, check your blood pressure.
Yeah. Could be a big cause. Yeah. A lot of fellas getting taken down with stuff like that recently.
Well, I think we're still in a pandemic. People forget this. And I that plus, like, Tom works in a hospital. It's not fun in there.
No.
Do you know? It's not the crack. I think everyone's a little bit more stressed. I feel like the pandemic has changed us forever, as we're all aware. We'll never forget this time. This has very much like changed everything. But I feel like, you know, maybe our body hasn't caught up with our brain.
Yeah.
Do you know? So
yeah, I just know a few people, particularly like in my family. Well, not my immediate family, but like Adam's cousin, like my sister's husband, like stuff like that. Just going into hospital with like irregular heartbeats and different types of blood pressure and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I'm just like, is there something going that nobody's really talking about?
See, I thought it was the gaff.
The gaff?
Yeah, I thought it was here. Because obviously I've had all my health issues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of asbestos or something.
I thought I was literally like, we're going to have to get this place checked out. And then I changed the shower head and my eczema's gotten a lot better since I changed it. Oh. Yeah, shockingly enough. Not amazing because it's stress related, but it's gotten better.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, I just decided because it was because his migraines were getting worse. But his migraines were getting worse because his fucking blood pressure was getting worse. Yeah. And it was getting worse because his eyeballs are swelling at the moment.
Yeah, he told me that.
Yeah, not nice.
Not nice.
Yeah. But this was the biggest indicator for me, and it's weird because I've said it to a few people and they're like, I've said it to a few people and half of them have been like, yeah, and the other half have been like, are you all right? He smelled different.
Wow.
He didn't smell like himself. Okay. He smelled like sweet. You know, like sickly sweet. You know when that smell of sick.
Yeah.
And I was like, you smell
sick.
And he was like, I think you're hormonal. I was like, no, I think you are. Because I was like, maybe it's your hormones that have changed.
Yeah.
Because men get hormone changes too. Do you know what I mean? It's just not as fucking frequent or as fluctuated as us. So I was like, maybe it's that. Maybe that's what's causing the migraine. Tom gets very bad migraines. He's like down for 2 days with them. Like takes tablets for them, all that other kind of shit. But
he drinks caffeine-free Coke.
He hasn't drank caffeine in 4 years.
I don't get it.
It's because he was saying it's not the caffeine that was bringing on the headaches. It's when he stopped drinking the caffeine. So if he missed or he never drank coffee, he was like, if I stopped drinking Coke because it's not good for you, that's when he'd get the absolute clangor of a headache. So be careful out there, friends. He's like, I'm like, oh, he's all right, but he's not. But like, he will be.
Yeah.
Fine, I hope.
He's hopefully be up with the weekend.
He's in the right place.
Yes, yeah.
Jen dropped a big bag of stuff to him. It was like a boxy suitcase.
The fucking biggest bag. It was like the size of an IKEA bag. Where was that bag from?
Yisk.
Yeah,
you know, JYSK.
Yeah.
Yisk. Is that what they call it? Yisk. I was looking for an IKEA bag. I didn't have one, so I was looking for one because it's his robe, and I didn't want the whole bag. I hate when bags are bursting.
Yeah.
That's my least favourite thing.
The thing I could have gotten in the bag.
You could have gotten the bag and I could have carried your engine, absolutely. And it's very sturdy. It's a very good bag.
It is a good bag, but
I want that back, Tom.
I got slagged when I brought it into the office.
We'll say that there's a doting girlfriend outside very concerned about their fella.
I was walking out and they're like, hey, you look like the mad lady going there. The fucking thing is really bigger than you.
You're like, shut up, I'm going over here.
I gotta see Tom steps for
Sophie, you're not embarrassing me. Oh, so Jen waddled over with a bag that was as large as her.
Yeah, and then I walked in on the first bit of sleep that he'd gotten in about 48 hours.
I know, catch flies, God bless him.
Bless him.
Yeah, but you visited him twice and he was appreciative. Yeah. So I can't get in there.
I'll go and see him in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might give you a few more cans of caffeine-free Coke.
Yeah. Grant, no bother.
So you get some.
We're talking about begrudgers in this episode.
Grudges.
Some say that begrudgery is solely for the Irish.
Yeah, we say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think we're an odd little we're an odd little nation in oceans, aren't we?
Anti-notions, I think.
Yeah, but we've notions for people who have notions.
Yeah. It's I actually saw, I was just like looking up to see like what the actual definition of it was, and it's like when you Google the word begrudgery, it's mostly Irish things that come up.
Fuck off.
Like the noun is Irish. Yeah. So like the noun is Irish and then the word begrudger. So there's this there's a few quotes from an Irish Times article that I thought was quite interesting, because it does kind of nail it down if you were to explain it to a foreign national, right? So it is a peasant anger at inequality in its raw, uncooked state and worth more respect than it usually gets. In Ireland, you can be as different as you want once you recognise you're no better than the rest of us.
Yeah.
It's the quality that allows Bono to walk up Grafton Street unmolested, or a former Minister of Education to cycle his Dublin bike the wrong way down Trinity Street. I saw him. Without anybody batting an eyelid. If there's any consolation to the IFA, I suspect the trait may be very deeply rooted. And it's just like all those types of it's very much just like we wouldn't be letting them know now. Do you know, like you could see fucking give me an idol. You love Nick Cage. You wouldn't be letting Nick Cage get
Things
stopped.
that he's, yeah.
And in the street.
Oh, that'd be very team first.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be just like, oh, just Nicolas Cage now. Fuck him.
Yeah. Much older looking in person.
Yeah. The first thing you do is just start calling out like all the shit that's wrong with him.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be giving him any sort of, and he wouldn't even know. Like, there's no way you're getting his attention, first of all, because you don't want him to think that he's any better than anyone else.
Yeah.
So he's not even hearing you, but you're still fucking trying to tear him down, like.
Yeah.
That's the type of thing. But I had said, because maybe it was the Privilege podcast, because when you had said the other day, let's talk about begrudgery, I was like, I'm sure we've talked about this before, but we've definitely touched on it, and I think we always threatened to talk about begrudgery on it.
We've threatened to talk about it a lot, so yeah, we'll be very on brand.
Which we never write down. Personally, in my own opinion, I think begrudgery is when somebody is doing something that you could yourself do and you never attempted it. So like, now, that's my personal opinion on it, because like other people would be like, say with Bono and stuff like that, a load of people fucking hate Bono just because he's successful. Now, I don't know, is he a dickhead? I've never met him. I can't say for sure that he's a dickhead. Other people will say, it's not just because he's successful, it's because he's a fucking wanker. Like, you know, this sort of stuff.
Well, he's,
like,
he's a tax evader, you know.
He's he's a tax evader. If you were making his money,
who isn't?
Would you?
Who isn't?
Would you be paying your taxes? Would you be paying your 40%? I personally think that there aren't as many people. Like, I couldn't do what Bono does, so I don't begrudge him. Do you know what I mean?
I don't care about him. I think that's kind of like, there's a lot of things that I care about. There's a lot of shit that I don't fucking care about. Yeah. And it's a weird one. It's like my brain only has capability for a certain amount of spite, and Bono doesn't hop into that sphere of mine. Yeah. But then there's other people where he's like there. Because the other way, it's like Rita Ora can't stand the woman. Like, do you know what I mean? Don't know her.
Yeah.
I probably would get on very well with her. But I don't know why. I just can't.
There are people as well who I think you're a bit like, this is what I notice as well, when you see toxic shit, and I try to avoid it now. I haven't actually read, apart from the Facebook comment section on a few articles, I haven't actually read an awful lot of online hate recently. I just try to fucking avoid it because I feel like it brings me down, even if it's not about me.
I think it's hard to see that that's how people, like, I would just personally, never write a comment publicly about a human being. I just wouldn't do it. It doesn't matter if it's fucking anonymous or whatever. I just wouldn't. I don't think that as I sit here with a fucking opinionated podcast, I don't think that I can't, I'm a hypocrite, what can I say? But it's just not a thing that I would put energy and effort into.
Yeah.
Like, and this is what I mean. But it's also because it gives into the power of it. Do you know where you're like, I'm fucking fuming at Rita Ora? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was like, do you remember she was doing that weird virtual thing with those drinks?
Yeah.
Those awful tasting drinks. It was like the penis drink in The Office. That's all I think about when I see those drinks. They're called Mood, I think.
Right.
You know the penis drink in The Office?
Didn't she do
she did that virtual thing. Do you remember? And it was like weird VI, and it was like, oh no, virtual Rita Ora's going to kill me.
Was that for an energy drink?
Yeah. It's not an energy drink. It's a like a flavoured water kind of. It's very, I think it's called Mood. They're not good. I saw them earlier in the most random, they were in their garage earlier, and I was like,
did she have, it was a video and it was all very grey.
yeah, and it was like coming to the virtual reality of like whatever, and it was an event that they were throwing on some kind of rooftop.
That's what it was.
It was
And
weird.
there was a horse song that was like, we said I come at you now. Was that playing in the background of it?
Yeah.
That was very strange.
It was a weird, who decided on that fucking branding, marketing and everything plan?
I didn't know.
They have a lot to poxy answer for, I tell you that.
Are you sure it was for an energy drink?
It's not an energy drink, Jen. Stop saying it. It's called Mood, I think.
You said it was an energy drink.
No, I didn't. I said it was a weird drink. Mood drinks. Googling them now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think...
Yeah, here they are. They're awful. Mood, M-U-D-E.
Oh, yeah. No, that's... Oh, yeah. Oh, there's still some of them in the fridge and work from fucking...
yeah.
They got sent in loads of cases of them for Feed the Heroes. We had like...
Of course they couldn't fucking... Nobody was fucking robbing them. Nobody was even robbing. No one was drinking them for fucking free.
A big fucking wheelie case, like about 8 boxes of them came in. There's still some in the fridge. That was in June.
Yeah, sparkling healthy drinks, but they're not nice.
I don't know.
Oh God, do you know what else they do? Sorry, now that I'm just seeing it, I just think it's worth Rita Ora collaboration, kill me. So beer, have you seen it? No. Sober, get it? Beer. It's non-alcoholic beer, and we have some there because Tom likes non-alcoholic. Sorry, this was another part of his thing. He stopped drinking to see if that would help the migraines. Didn't. They're in there. They're the worst.
Okay.
Like, I've tried a lot of 0.0s. Peroni's actually quite a nice 0.0. Heineken's dirt. There's a Carlsberg is the worst, but so beers are pretty much up there. Yeah. Fucking rotten.
Do you know what? I don't see it, and I know this is a very
oh my God, they're Kildare based.
I know this is a very surface level thing to say. I just don't see the appeal in a non-alcoholic beer. If I'm drinking a beer, I want to get buzzed. Sorry, I don't do for the appreciation of the hops. What?
Iconic people and iconic places. Rita Ora live from the Eiffel Tower with Mood.
Fucking hell. They have a big budget.
They must have. What the fuck?
What do they call it when people they write off taxes? Is that what that is? That has to have been
I think I'm laughing because it's so perfect. It's like, of course it'll be Rita Ora. Of course the Eiffel fucking Tower. And of course these tacky, rotten drinks. Yeah. Oh my God.
If they ever want
she performed.
If you want to ever write off a taxi, you can sponsor the podcast.
If you want to write off a taxi and hit up Rita Ora. Apparently she's gonna do a few things in 4K HDR. Guys, like... Oh, we should do one on dodgy campaigns sometimes.
Absolutely.
I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I think I have that down and write that down right now,
Write
Carla. Write it down right now, Carla. That is a dodgy campaign.
Yeah. What was I going to say? No, I was trying to make a point there, and then I was like, I don't think people begrudge people who do stuff that they probably couldn't do themselves. But then I'm just thinking about Bono, and fucking everyone hates Bono. Everyone hates Conor McGregor, which is obvious. He's a dickhead.
Well, yeah.
He is a dickhead.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to meet Conor McGregor to know that he's a dickhead. But there's certain people that do up to a certain point, and then loads of people support them, and then they kind of
fall off.
No, they go through the stratosphere, and that's when people start fucking hating them. And that's when it's like, oh no.
Oh, as in like so it's like you... I saw this quote before, I can't remember it, so I'm going to butcher it with my explanation, but it was like, their glass ceiling has to match yours to get me. And once you
Yes.
break through that, it's something along those lines. It's a very good quote. If I can find it, I'll post it. But it's like something along those lines where it's like, if they decide your glass ceiling, then you're always going to be bleeding hated.
That's true.
Fucked.
Very
Do you know?
true. Yeah.
Something along those lines, you know, guys.
It's
Positive vibes
It
over
was
here.
a common one that you would hear is, it's far from that you are red.
What is that about? I'm like, thank you for that bump back to it, but you know,
Far from that you are red.
I know, especially it's like eating. No, well,
Yeah,
sorry for
it
me
is.
trying to try out a few new things.
Like, I'm 33.
Yeah, I might want to try caviar. You don't know me.
Like, what did I do when I was younger? What was I doing when I was being brought up? Licking rain off gates and picking chewing gum off the gravel and chewing it. Like that, yeah.
Yeah, can't really compare the two.
You can't get further away from where I was reared, but here we fucking are. Like,
Eating a proper meal. Eating my full chicken nuggets is far from where I was reared. But sure, here, listen.
eating it chopped. God forbid.
God forbid you got your solid chopped for you, Jen.
Far from chopped you are
Far
red.
from chop bleeding red. Could be our own fucking salad.
Yeah. Like, stop.
Yeah, I just think that like we love to put a lid on things, don't we? We're like, no, okay? You just pop back into that box.
That's what it is. It's the fucking gavel on the table, isn't it?
Yeah.
Back in your box.
It's weird. It's like we irk. And I will say, and I know it's bad for men, but I think it's particularly aimed at women.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
There's a lot of men begrudgers out there, but I do feel like the women one is very...
I just feel that like the women one is more toxic, whereas a fella
that's it.
begrudger would be like...
They're very like,
oh, fuck off, man, you're a sellout. That would be about as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Whereas a woman's one, she will pick apart every reason why you don't deserve to do what you're doing.
we can internalize it and we think about it. I think with men, they can almost not control themselves.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I think I've had worse issues with men than I have with women. Do you know in that kind of way?
How do you mean?
I've had more men being fuming at me than women. I had a lot of women be fuming at me, but there's more standout cases of men that I know. More like not fucking strangers that are just like, oh, she has notions about herself because they saw a 30-second clip on Poxy Instagram.
What's the context of it like?
Like fuming that you get a new car, fuming that you like, you know, all that other kind of stuff. It's real materialistic almost.
Yeah. But most begrudgery is.
But I remember one of the lads that I used to hang out with was fuming when I got a new laptop.
Okay.
Do you know?
Right.
It was very bizarre.
See, I think when it's like a woman, you can kind of understand where that comes from when it's a man who thinks he's all fucking deadly and he's getting all that. And I'm not saying all men are like that, but there are quite a few men out there that still have very much, they're filled to the brain with toxic masculinity. They're like, she's after getting that and I'm fucking trying to get that, and like she's after getting that for me. You know, that kind of real like, girls doing better than me, boys are better than girls, that type of mentality. Whereas like, I feel like women are more like, they will think about the thing you did when you were 17 that makes you not deserve what you're getting now when you're 43.
Yeah. It's like she told me to fuck off in a nightclub one time.
Yeah, like they go fucking deep, do you know?
They harbour.
And then it depends on where they are in their life as well, because I feel like women can be such fucking good cheerleaders and such good supporters, but it actually depends on what fucking mood they're in or the place in their life where they are at the moment.
I think it does. I think there is that little what about me?
Yeah.
In everyone. Mm-hmm. But I think it's when you push past and you always feel better about yourself. When you're like cheering, do you know what? It's really weird. It's like, even we were talking about that podcast, that new podcast.
Yeah.
That's after getting a big sponsor.
Yeah.
And we were like, fair fucking do you know what I mean? Like, that was, I was like, well, Jesus, like, I mean, good on them. Wouldn't happen to us, but good on them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It feels better to support
but I was like, that feels better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Rather than going, how they get that?
Rather than being like, oh, do you know?
Yeah. Oh, no, honestly, like, because I definitely would have, in the past, before I started kind of working on myself, being the type, you know, like to compare myself to other people that would have been in my situation. And sometimes when I know somebody genuinely doesn't deserve it for reasons that I personally have seen, like if they're being dishonest, if they're being sneaky, if they're cheating their way, then I'm still very much like, no, fuck you, you don't deserve it, and I'm not going to cheerlead you because I know how you got here.
Yeah.
And I know there's a
And
few
it was
people
off.
like
It
that.
was off the like. It was off.
That, like you have literally,
Yeah.
you have crushed other people. Like
Yeah.
you have taken something from them to get where you are. So no, I will not support you. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Whereas when somebody is genuinely doing amazing for themselves, and I look at myself and I do compare them to me, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to be doing that. I still fucking cheer for them because it feels so much better to cheer for them and be like, do you know what? I'm fucking delighted for you. I am. Like, it's brilliant that you're there. Do you know what I mean? And it feels good to support people, and I feel like it has a knock-on effect. Like, then when you do something, that person will cheer you on, and it's all just a fucking lovely meadow that we're all standing in when it happens.
Yeah.
Do you know? I feel like you can naysay somebody all you want. If they genuinely deserve to be where they are, just cheer them on. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, there's no, unless if you know that they don't deserve it because they fucking did something to somebody else to get where they are. Do you know?
I totally get you.
Whereas I feel like people just automatically, and women especially.
I have something on the tip of my tongue. I want to say it so badly, but I can't.
Why?
Just in case it indicates the person that I'm talking about.
You can't tease us. You know everybody's going to be in the DMs now going, who was there? Who was there?
I should have just said it as a quip.
You should.
I should have just said it as
We're
a
all
quip.
thinking about it now.
Yeah, I know. I should have just, now it's going to be so obvious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
brought attention to it. I could have just said it as a one-off, and then it would have just like floated in the air. I'll say it on a different episode. I'll get it out
When
there.
you're least expecting.
I'll get it out there. Oh, believe me.
Yeah, yeah.
I will say my piece.
Have you gotten any personal experiences with begrudgery?
Well, let me just whip out my notes. There was this couple that, like I mentioned earlier, obviously. Oh, sorry. This is one that came up. I remember when I was younger. When I was doing my leaving, and you know the way the fucking everybody's obsessed when you're doing leaving. What do you want to study in college? And I put down psychology because that was the first degree that I dropped out of. But I dropped out of 2, so
Yeah.
went to college 3 times. But I remember I was like, oh yeah, I think I want to do psychology, and I was like, I've kind of like, at that point in time, I'd kind of mapped it, just as you do, you map out like a little plan for yourself.
Yeah.
And I remember I was telling some of my cousins, it's not the cousins that listen to this, it ain't you, but I was telling some of my cousins, and I'll never forget the reaction. Oh. I was like, oh, Jesus, sure, yeah, then you'll do that, will you? Oh, you might do a master's, will you? I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I mean, once I've decided. Because the other way, you've just, like, I went to the fucking institute and you have to get guidance counselling. Like, it's part of your poxy curriculum. So they, like, sit you down and they'll be like, and then you'll do this and then you'll do that and this is your career. And, like, they try to set you up for a career. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're going to go and do Chinese and something. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, what are you going to do after that? It's like, no, this is what you're going to do after that.
Well, that's good. I prefer it when schools do that.
Yeah, well, I think it was, to be honest, it was very helpful for me, especially with like picking subjects and all that other kind of crap. Because I was like, okay, this is what I like. Like every single one was like, play to your strengths. If your strengths aren't languages, then stop fucking doing them. You don't have to do them here. I
always wondered, and do you know what? I didn't know how it worked, but you can have a degree in anything for certain jobs.
Yeah,
just once you
have a degree,
complete.
Literally, once you have a certificate. Yeah.
I just don't know.
It's so bizarre. Genuinely, it's bizarre.
Is it got to do with having the cop on or the determination to finish a degree? Is it the general logic of being able to follow through with something?
Third level education is a bit of a weird one in Ireland. I think it's hard to kind of...
Sorry about that. That's RTA News. Gobshites.
Are they hiring you for something? Sorry, need to talk about
this. It's a notification. It's got to do with the case numbers today. 3,024.
What?
Yeah, that's 19,000 in the last 7 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, so but it's hard to talk about. I don't know, essentially, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's a lot to do with, like, if you're in college and if you complete a college course, it's a very difficult thing to do. A lot of people who've completed college courses have turned around and been like, the worst fucking money that I've ever spent. Yeah. Didn't get me anywhere. I'm still in X, Y, and Z. But then I feel like you can't look back over your life, because then maybe at 40 or maybe at 50 that degree kicks in or something, you know, or maybe it taught you life skills or it's... Yeah. But then there's loads of people who are like, my degree was the best. I had to do my degree, otherwise I wouldn't be in my career. My career is the best thing in the entire world. So it's a bit of a weird one. I feel like it's hard to talk about, because I'm like, yes, a lot of it is bollocks. Like tons of it is absolute horse shit.
Yeah.
But then a lot of it isn't. It just really depends on the course, where you're studying, what you're doing, how invested you are, how invested your tutors are, all that other kind of stuff. It's very subjective. It's hard to kind of like, I wouldn't be like, sure, you don't need a degree for that. Because I wouldn't.
You wouldn't know.
I maybe didn't need a degree for that. Or
Yeah, well, see, this is...
maybe I did need a degree for that. You know, in that kind of way, you're like, you couldn't really...
Yeah.
It's hard to level.
The whole thing, because never understood why people went to college for English. And...
But if you want to, like, if you want to
history.
be, if you want to be a, I think it's a librarian, you have to do like a librarian, you have to do a master's or possibly a PhD to be a librarian. I can't remember. There's a lot of specific jobs. Like if you want to, like if you study English, you probably want to be like maybe a professor, or you want to be like working with certain very particular jobs, you know?
I know people who have just done English because it was the easier option to get the degree to go into something that was absolutely nothing to do with English.
English is a very difficult degree.
But they said, like, and then history and art and, you know,
Yeah,
all these
art and
things
politics,
that have
and all
fuck
that
all
other
to do
stuff.
with the career that they're in.
Yeah, but I think sometimes, you know, your life changes, doesn't it? Where you're just like,
I know, absolutely. And listen, I'm not going to pretend.
Yeah.
I know just the questions that I'm asking is stupid because I've never done third level education. I'm not.
But I will say one other thing. I think Ireland in particular are obsessed because our parents didn't really have that.
Yeah.
Well, they did, obviously, but not. It wasn't as done a thing. Whereas now it's very much like you're going to school, you're going to college.
It's far from college, you are
right. Far from universities.
Shall we get some of our listeners?
Do you have any stories personal? No.
Not that I can think of. Like,
really, as an actor, as an actor, as a male actor,
maybe behind my back.
Oh
but
yeah, never to your face. Like nobody ever turned around and was can't believe you got that off.
No,
can't believe you got that gig over me.
No. In fairness to people, and I don't keep many close, but the ones that I do are all very supportive to my face at least. I don't like. There would have been people over the years, one in particular, a colleague where I used to work for years, and she finished up way before I finished up. She was years ago, but she was just a toxic person in general. Mm-hmm. So, like, I wouldn't have called it begrudgery. I would have just called her a fucking arsehole, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, that you'd guess she'd be kind of going, but what about me? Like, that kind of thing. Or, you know, you'd say, I went to Tenerife. She'd say, I went to 11 Reef. That type of thing.
I think there is, and that's what I mean. I feel like it's about breaking through that first reaction, because your first reaction, especially if you like work with someone in you know, if it's somebody from the bloody,
you've no choice.
If it's somebody from the, you know, online team and you work in front of house, you're not going to be like, why did they get that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, why did they get that e-commerce position? Oh,
yeah.
I'm an accountant. Oh, do you know what I mean?
No, well, the place where I worked, there was no such thing as like, you know, like she was doing courses for what she wanted to do. I didn't want to do any courses. There was no such thing as a promotion. We were all very equal on the team. Yeah. It was more personal things. Like when I got the mini, she was like, oh, you know, that, like just little kind of things. And I don't know, like she lived with her parents and she was saving for a house and stuff like that, and then I moved into the house with Adam, but we were only renting, and just took that personally. But I think it was because I had my own space, and I was like, yeah, but that's a choice, do you know? Like, it's not something you can't achieve. You just choose to stay at home and save, which is what I'll have to do anyway, you know?
Yeah,
like that.
which is gonna be mine.
It was just very, I don't know, I think she just had a gripe with most people, and in fairness, she didn't have it very easy. She was trying very hard to get pregnant, and there was a few tragedies along the way. And I remember one particular time, and it was just a very low point. So I don't really hold this against her, but at the time I remember going, holy fuck! I remember somebody coming in, and they were after finding out that they were pregnant, and I think there was just a bit of a like, oh God, I wasn't planning this. Like, you know, it was an unexpected pregnancy, and she kind of just found out. But yeah, we were kind of anonymous people. It was, this was the situation. And she went in the back and fucked from a height. She doesn't deserve that bit. I was like, oh
Like, I think it's a bit, this is what I mean. You have to push past that
But
to get to the, like.
But this is what I mean about women, and it depends on where they are in their life.
Yeah.
That's where it comes. Women are very emotional, and they go through so fucking much that it really depends on a woman's reaction when it comes to begrudgery, what they've been through, where they are in their life, what fucking hand they've been dealt. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of... I think it's a hard thing to navigate.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, 1 year, a woman could be your best cheerleader, but if she goes through a shit time of it, good fucking luck to you. She's not going to be supporting you, like, all the shit's happened to her. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really...
Yeah, there's, like, lots of stages to it, isn't it? Where it's, like, at that point, it could just hit a nerve that you're not aware of.
Yeah. And
I think that's why it's, like, it's real, like... And I hate those phrases where it's like, says more about them than it does about you. But it does a lot of the time. Yeah. Because if you think of it and you're like, this is nothing but positive. Again, if you came up with the back of ripping someone off, yes, people are going to be thick. And you know yourself are like smirking away, being like, yeah. Versus if you are someone who came off the back of, you know, something like a promotion that you worked really hard for, or getting credit off a project that you really worked on, or any of that kind of stuff, that would be more. Yeah,
I know. It was just, I don't know. It was a weird situation, but I can honestly say that I haven't had that many people in my life that have been very, very negative. And if I have, they were in my much younger years, and they were cold straight away. Like,
and I got rid of them. I put them in the bin.
They were cold. I just did not keep them in my life.
Absolutely not vibing with those.
No, I have a very small knit group of people, and that's the way I prefer it to be.
And I'm one of them.
I'm one of them.
Fuck off.
I have a listener's story here.
Go on.
It's a long one, actually.
I love this.
This is a weird situation. So my uncle's wife fucking hates me, lads. I swear I can't do right for doing wrong. Joined the gym when I was 16 or so, and she told my mum I was silly because I was going to be coming out built like a man. Like, what? Told her when I was picking college courses I was doing biomedical science and thought of doing something along the lines of cancer research. She took the piss out of me and mocked me to others, saying I plan to cure cancer on my own. Kind of like you with your psychology.
Yeah, literally. Why were they so mad?
I don't know. Is that begrudgery though? Like,
yeah, it's really like, no, you've got fucking notions about yourself.
Oh, well, then my ma begrudges me all the time. Because my ma was coming up with fucking great ideas.
Ma's always do.
Oh, they're arseholes, aren't they? Like, my ma, I'd be like, oh, I want her to do this. Talking about the house and stuff like that, you know, like the ideas that I have. And she's just like, oh yeah, and you know, and you're gonna have
that's
some
what I
money
mean. You're
for
like,
that.
oh yeah, and you're gonna get a new fireplace. No, actually, I love the way I'm saying this. Ma's always do. My mother never. Other people's mothers.
You can do it, Carol.
My mum's like,
fantastic.
absolutely. Yeah. Actually, you should get 2 new floors.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Now, in fairness, she hasn't been as bad. Like I've run a few ideas past her, and I've actually been shocked at her reaction. She was like, no, that's a good idea. Yeah, you should do that. And I think it's because she's seen the reality in it, that it's what I'm saying is realistic. Now, whether it's possible in the close future, that's questionable. And I know that, like, there are certain things that I said. What was it that I said? I was looking at the app that the crash provide for Bobby, so I can see what he's doing during the day to take the photos, and
is he all right?
They write down times and, you know, nappy changes and percentages of food eaten and stuff like it.
Jesus, crashes have come a long way. Far from a crash, you were aware.
Far from a nap. You are weird. But he'd just be doing these little bits of artwork and all, and I was saying to my ma, like, oh, they do these, like, you know, accordion file things in Mr. Price. Hell yeah, Mr. Price. For like $8.99, and it's a big you joke. And I was like, you'd definitely fit, like, you'd be able to categorise, like, fresh, put all his little artwork bits in it. Junior infants, put all his little
keep it
this sort of stuff. Yeah. And she was just like this little fucking snuff at me, right? I was, what now, Sheila? Now,
I love her name.
I will give a bit of background, right? Sheila went out and bought me the most complicated fucking baby book you could ever buy anybody. It was English because I had pounds on it.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, the Brits, they're at it again. They're at it again.
Marks and Spencer's. But I mean, this thing had, like, you imagine, right? Bobby has reflux. I don't know that he has reflux. He's farting like a fucking mad thing. He is crying 24/7 7 days a week. Okay, I'm in a kerfuffle. I'm back in the fucking hospital a week later. For a week, I don't have time to piss. And this thing has, in the book, first time the child blew a bubble. And I'm like, the ridiculous amount of categories in it, Carla. Like, not just your average first lock of hair, first two. Do you know, like, the bits that are kind of...
I think they're kind of creepy. I don't want to see my hair from when I was
kind of, yeah. But I actually saw a video of that, and somebody was like, do you have a lock of hair, a first tooth, a first nail, and an umbilical cord in your house? Yeah, you had body parts in your house. Good luck. I was like, actually, I never thought that. But this thing, it's not just a basic thing. This has the most ridiculous thing. Like, what was his first fart? What did it smell like? You know, all this sort of, and it's asking you to give a detailed account of all of these things. I can't fucking remember the first 6 weeks of his life.
You're like,
do you know?
I was, how do you say depressed?
Yeah.
I was also, how do you say off my head?
Yeah. Exactly. And so when I said, I'm going to get one of those, which is a fucking very achievable thing, they give you these pieces of artwork in lump sums, like they get fucked at you at the end of term. And I was like, I'll get one of them for all that. And she was just it's the face that she does because she's trying not to laugh. So she sucks her cheeks in. It does me fucking head in.
What do you mean she's trying not to laugh? I'd be like, why are you laughing, you little bitch?
She does this.
Catch me outside.
Sucks in her cheeks, trying not to laugh. And I'm like, what? She goes, oh yeah, because she did such a good job filling in the baby book. And I was, you fucking joking me? You know, you brought me the most complicated book that's ever been fucking written for babies. And it, look, she had the best intentions behind it. And it is, what I could fill out or what I could remember is grand, but a lot of it is blank. It's not my fault. I was very unorganised when Bobby Force came along. But it's just stuff like that I'm just like, there's no need for it, Sheila.
Yeah.
There's no
piss off.
There's no need.
Piss off, Mum. Also, can I live here?
Yeah. And sometimes, like, when I say, oh, I have a great eye, or, do you know, the big one, I'll turn around and I go, I was thinking, she'll go, oh, fuck. Now, as a joke, but sometimes...
It gets thin. It wears thin.
It wears very thin, especially when you're feeling a little bit sensitive, like,
yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
When you are depressed after having a baby.
When you're depressed after having a baby and off your head. Yeah. Right about then. Right about
but
then.
I don't know if that's begrudgery or it's just like your ma just kind of trying to suppress you down. You know?
Yeah, it's weird. It's but that's what I mean. Your ma's almost like, oh, well, like your mother, not mine, but your mother will always humble you. Not off. But your mother will always humble you quick, sharp.
Yeah, that's what I would call it. It's more of a humbling. Than, yeah.
You're being humbled.
Yeah.
Or trying to be humbled anyway.
Anyway, let's get on to this, girls, the rest of our story. Fast forward to me in my final year of college. She asked my mum, can I have I applied for jobs yet? And my mum said no. And then in brackets, for jobs in my profession, you have to have your final exams done to at least apply because you have to be registered to the professional body. So she went on about how lazy / unorganised I was for not having a job lined up, and she said I'd be left with nothing. So
weird reaction for your worst enemy, but okay.
For your uncle's wife, though.
No, but
not
like
even blood.
Just
not
such a weird reaction in general.
So my mum explains it and said that what I had mentioned, and she said, well, then she should go and work in the private industry. So the auntie says, oh no, sorry. So my mum explains this and said I had mentioned going to work in the private industry, and the auntie says, oh, that's a waste of time, better getting into the HSE. After all of her fees being paid and Susie payments to go out through, she should she not be trying to give back?
Very weird.
Yeah. So anyway, I get a HSE job straight out of college, and within a year I have my permanent HSE contract. Go on, girl. And she tells my mum, should HSE are terrible to work for? She made a big mistake there.
I'd be like, actually, I've been voice recording you and I'm about to play you back of you. I'm about to humble you. How about that?
Honestly, can't do right for doing wrong. That's the things narrowed down because this is already an essay of a response, sorry. Also, just to add, she's had me blocked on Facebook since I was 17. Haha, like, honestly, the only thing I done wrong was exist. Like, isn't that so strange? Marilyn gives a look at you. Hon, she's jealous of you.
She's good looking.
She's good. Yeah, she's a good looking girl. Yeah, oh, she's definitely jealous of you.
Look at you, like, let me just have a quick look. Yeah, she's fuming.
Yeah, she's fuming because you're massive. That's what it is. Yeah. So strange for your blood uncle's wife, though. She's just a bit of a Karen. Isn't she?
It's a very
no
odd.
need.
It's a very odd response. The whole thing's just odd.
Yeah.
To be honest, I wouldn't take it on because at least then you're like, oh, here we go.
Oh no, she seems to kind of take the piss out of the fact.
Which I like.
Her uncle's wife just fucking hates her.
I like that.
Yeah, so weird.
Very odd. I do want to. We're going to revisit last week because this came in. We did ask people to contribute.
Yeah.
So we were talking last week about undertakers and
Oh,
morgues
yeah.
and all that other stuff. And somebody wrote in saying, catching up on last week's podcast, my mum used to be a funeral undertaker. She sold the business when I was a teenager, and we as kids had to dress coffins for the recently emigrated, is how we used to describe the dead in our house.
Recently emigrated. That's cute.
We learned all the tips and tricks so the mouths don't fly open. Great at putting rollers in hair now. The guy that bought the business still owns it, and my mum passed away in August. He came around to the house. It was the most surreal conversation as she had died at 6 a.m. We as her kids had her in the right position. We had her mouth sorted, her teeth back, and all set from... Oh God! I said, like, what? My husband, who still had his grandparents, had never experienced a close death, and he's traumatized by all of our abilities on how to deal with somebody passing.
Yeah.
See, that's what I think you'd be like. Oh, we accept death in this house.
You would learn to deal with it
You'd
better,
be like,
wouldn't you?
yeah, you would. You'd be like, we see this all the time.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's very normal. It's not like.
I remember when my granddad died, because he died at home. This was only 2 years ago, and my auntie's friend, she's like a help at home type of nurse, and she's known him like most of her life as well. Like he's very much like
Part of the crew.
yeah, exactly. And she was able to do the whole thing. So she got, was it a cloth? She ripped something. Maybe it was the tie off a robe or something like that. I just know it was a long piece of fabric, and she had his little jaw tied up. So if you can imagine, the robe was literally around his little face, his little moon face, just to stop his jaw from
Hanging open.
Yeah, because it sets or something. You have to try and
Rigor mortis.
you have to try and keep it close. See, when you die at home, you have to wait for the doctor to come and
Yeah, you do.
pronounce you.
Yeah, it's mad.
An ambulance driver can't do it.
No,
You have to call your actual GP and fucking hope to God you get through to them.
Yeah, and be like,
Or the D-doc.
yeah, oh God.
Do you know?
It's a lot, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
God.
So,
Imagine if you'd only been to your GP. You know the way not like everybody has like relationships with their GP.
yeah.
I go to a poxy new GP all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
in
yeah,
my
yeah.
clinic. So like imagine being like, who's that?
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, are they dead? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird.
So yeah, I just thought I'd clear that up because we do always ask people to give us those stories.
Yeah.
And then we forgot it.
We did.
We forgot it. I have a begrudger story now, just to follow that one up, the death story. Just
to clarify.
Just to clarify. Begrudger story. My parents are the worst. My parents are just the worst.
Are they begrudging you or are they just humbling you? We will find out.
I got married 10 years ago, and ever since I moved out with my now husband to his family home, parents no longer live here. It's a lovely bungalow in the countryside with gorge gardens. My parents have labelled me a snob.
What?
Bit weird.
They are begrudgers, yeah.
Yeah. They will. Oh, look, Bank of Ireland have texted me off an 087 number to say that our account has been hacked. So that's good, isn't it?
That's great.
Great. They will only say it behind my back, though, to other people. And my dad has, on more than one occasion, asked me why I even need to work when I should just be home with my kids. Sure, how much can the mortgage be?
Oh, God.
In brackets, we did buy the house, so we do have a mortgage. I can never talk about anything I can never talk about anything I have, like a newer car or work done on the house. They think I'm showing off. They never seem to be happy for anything that I've done or accomplished, so they don't even ask anymore. Another small one, I remember once asking my dad for two Nurofen as I had a banging headache, and he rolled his eyes and begrudgingly gave me one Nurofen, saying that that should be enough. He needs them himself. Do you know?
Okay.
Love the pod here since the start. Oh, love you.
I love you. Are they begrudgers or are they stingy?
No, I think it's all in. They're not stingy about her having a fab gaff.
Stingy about the Nurofen.
Yeah, well, I think it's just more. It's like, oh, of course she wants the Nurofen. She
Oh,
wouldn't take a
yeah.
bloody ibuprofen, a Boots brand, would she? She wants the Nurofen. Like, it's because they think that you've notions. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't treat you like that if you were like, oh, you know, if they felt a different way. That's shy.
That is shy.
Yeah.
Like, I know I've talked about my mum with her thing. Most of the time she's joking. That seems very toxic.
Yeah, you're like, Sheila's not the worst.
I'm No, I'm
recording.
actually very lucky with my piss taker of a ma.
Yeah.
Now I know I am. I know she'd just be taking the piss most of the time.
Yeah.
Just wrecks me head when I'm in the humour.
Yeah.
Now that sounds very toxic, and I can't imagine like being proud of getting something done to the house or getting a new car, because you'd be delighted with yourself, don't you?
Yeah, and it's tough, isn't it? Because this is what I mean about like getting a new car. You don't want to be.
I don't want to seem like you're rubbing it in, but you do be
like,
delighted with
you do
yourself.
be delighted. Like, I remember when I got my new car,
Yeah.
the neighbours, my next door neighbours, they were fucking chuffed. They sat in it. They were chatting to me about it. All of their, like, they've loads of, they've like, all their kids live out of house now.
Yeah.
And like, every time, oh, look at the new, oh, and I was like, stop it, you.
Yeah.
Did you like it? But then to, like, you know, to some other people, you'd be like, anyway, oh, that's just my car.
Yeah.
Should I show you guys this? That's just my car.
And then sometimes you nearly brush it off to a point where it looks like you don't even appreciate it. So you look even worse.
Because you don't know how to act, is it? And
Yeah.
this is just a story that just came to me there. I bought a new bag at the start of the month. I was having a bit of not been a great year for me.
Yeah.
So I bought a little Prada bag. It's a crystal Prada bag. It's pink. I had my eye on a different pink one.
Oh, I remember you
Got over the
talking
pink
about it,
one.
yeah.
And decided I wanted this one. Went in one day with my mate. My mate was actually looking at bags to match her buggy, and I just took myself away and ended up buying it on the day. Anyway, whatever. And it's a real, like, I feel like a gobshite. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, I look like when I'm on my own, and when I'm with my mates, I'm like, yeah. But then, you know, sometimes when you're out, I'm like, am I a gobshite? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's such a weird one, because it's like, you'd love to be like, oh, just in BTs, like,
Yeah, you would.
yeah, you know, sitting down, like, taking fucking videos all around me.
if
But
you
when I
can-
see other people do that, I'm like, I'm so embarrassed for you. Put
Yeah.
down your fucking camera, you cringy bitch.
I know,
Do you know?
I know.
But then at the same time, I'm like, like, I don't mind a little TikTok of it, but if you're like making a meal out of it, I'm like, calm down.
You do be delighted with yourself though when you do achieve something like that, where you're
a
like,
little bang.
you have enough to like treat yourself, or you've saved up enough to treat yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do be delighted with yourself. You do be.
You do.
I have another one here. When I was 25, I got a job / promotion that one of my colleagues, a 35-year-old woman, went for too. She told a lot of people in the company that I had only gotten the job because I was sleeping with the manager.
Oh, great.
Couldn't
Oh,
possibly,
lovely.
couldn't possibly be because I was the best person for the job. She made the mistake of saying it to a friend of mine, and it got back to me. I absolutely was not sleeping with him. I'm 35 now, and I can't imagine spreading a story like that about a 25-year-old young one in work. So there was a 10-year age gap.
Nice.
Isn't that just fucking horrible?
It's just more like you feel like the Scarlet Lady.
Yeah.
I
It's
know, it's
just
the Scarlet Letter, also, but you know what I mean.
mortified for you.
Martha.
Especially for a girl like that's 10 years. Just fucking be happy for people.
Yeah.
Your time will come.
You'll get your...
You'll get your time.
You'll get it.
Yeah.
You'll absolutely get it. I've always felt like my family has been begrudged based on the fact that my mum is a single parent. Obviously, as a single parent, my mum would have been entitled to certain benefits, etc. But the amount of people who knock you for this is unbelievable. Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Carla, the amount of people that literally just... yeah.
I'd be like, hun.
I 100% believe that. Because that's all they're called is dole merchants and fucking scroungers. And
No,
Absolutely.
yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, no, I do get that.
And I'm
yeah.
sorry, but like, if you are a single parent and you're entitled to this shit, would you fucking not take it if you were entitled to it?
But I'm also like,
Absolutely
I'd
would.
rather the father, to be honest, I'd rather the father to have an active epoxy relationship here.
That's true.
You know.
But I mean, if you're entitled to it, you're gonna say fucking no to it. No, you're not.
Yeah.
It's like, shut the fuck and stop blaming the girl for claiming it.
Yeah.
Blame the government for offering it.
Yeah. She goes on to say, when I started college, my mum told me not to be telling people that I was entitled to the full Susie grant, as I didn't understand why until it was too late. Oh, God. There was always comments thrown around, oh, sure, she gets Susie. You're so lucky you get Susie. Hectic. Am I really lucky to get Susie, though? I think you're lucky you came from a non-disadvantaged family, love, XX.
Yeah.
People will always find a way to put others down over money. Yeah, money, we've talked about this. Money, particularly in Ireland, we've a wacko relationship with money. We love splurging, but then we also love pointing at people for splurging. We're mad with money.
Yeah.
Or either, if you would love to know more about money, our stinginess episode, you will really find the pits of the earth in
We're
there.
so fucking weird about it. Like,
Yeah.
don't talk about what people earn.
We're just so
We're
like...
just- yeah. It's very It's very strange. And then other people are just so fucking nosy when it comes to like what people are making. Like we were investigated by fucking Tattle's finest to see how many Patreons we had to try and work out they were wrong.
Yeah, by the way, you're wrong.
I don't know what fucking website you were using.
Well, why'd you give a shite? I pay fucking 40% taxes, wankers.
Like, seriously, we don't, like, why? But why do you want to know that? Like, what is that going to do for you?
Oh, sure, they don't. That's but that's what I mean. I think it's more to just kind of get it like. They want like around like people. They do these things to like.
There's no ribbon at the end of this race. Like you're not achieving. You're not achieving a thing. Like this is a pointless exercise.
Yeah, this is shit.
Well,
Use your time.
So you can tell your mate.
Invest in crypto. Maybe you'll have a few more.
I don't fucking understand it. I have a quote. This is another listener story, by the way. We'll have to wrap this up. I have a quote unquote best friend since we were like 2 or 3 that barely spoke to me during my last relationship. When we broke up, she was right back to being my best friend and calling every day. But since I've gotten with my new boyfriend, she won't reply to my messages or Snapchats or anything, all because she is dying for a relationship, but just never seems to work out. Oh, I should add, my sister got into a relationship not too long before I did, and she would still message her the odd time to give her a call, so it's just with me. So her best friend begrudges her being in a relationship, but not her sister. So it's not that it's a...
Oh, it's just her.
Yeah. It's just a friend she's not happy with.
I think it can be hard when you're like 2 mates, same age, similar like job status, similar whatever. And it's especially for women that are very relationship focused.
Yeah.
It can be... It can be just tough to have those conversations, isn't it? Where you're like, this really doesn't. But then it's so easy to turn around from in a relationship to be like, this doesn't make it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's very easy when you're sitting in a relationship to be like, get over it.
I think it's very, it depends on the bigger picture. Like if you're 2 mates that are constantly with each other and now all of a sudden this person has a boyfriend and they're splitting their time.
Yeah.
You can see how it's going to affect the other friends.
Yeah.
But I think talking it out is your best part of call.
Really talking it out?
Talking it out. Just go on here, listen. What's the crack?
I just wouldn't be interested. I'd be like, you can't handle me at my boyfriend. You don't deserve me at my single. Do you know what I mean?
I don't understand it. No, I mean from the other friend's perspective, like she's kicking herself in the foot by completely ignoring her.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you
could have half of the time that you used to have with your mate, but now you're choosing to ignore her because she has a fella. So now you've no time with your mate.
Yeah.
You've just kicked yourself in the shin there, love.
Well done, Jen.
And it says more about you
than it does about me. Hey, yuppa. I'm obsessed with this story.
Okay.
Not sure if this counts as an Irish Begrudgery story, but when I was small, I was sent a picture into the den and I got a postcard back off Socky and your one. Can't remember her name, something May. Anyway, I say I was 7, my brother was 5. He was raging. He took the postcard, scribbled out my name and wrote his name instead.
Oh, now come here. I'm not sure if this is an Irish Begrudgery story. This is the fucking baseline of an Irish Begrudgery story.
This is the best.
This is like, if you were ever to write a book about Irish Begrudgery, this is the opening.
This is it. Like, this is exactly what we mean. This is exactly what we mean.
You couldn't get more accurate. Like.
Scribbled my name out in highlighter though, so not very effective. So he's not the smart sibling, is he?
More. I made it a bit more highlighted. That was for her. Fuck's sake.
Oh, I'm obsessed.
That's mad though, isn't it, getting a postcard off Socky?
But that was the height.
Yeah, the den.
But that was the height of, like, not sophistication, I won't say that. I won't give them that. But that was like the height of Irish culture, wasn't it? It was like celebrity. Bono himself couldn't have sang me.
No.
Beautiful Day.
No.
In me bleeding front room.
Socky.
It was Socky.
Yeah.
He was Socky, zigzag.
He was.
Right there, see.
The shit. The shit. An unpopular opinion of the week. Shall we go there?
Yeah. I think men are as emotional, if not more, than women.
I disagree.
I know you do. You said it earlier, and I was like, I find that not the sus.
You were doing that like the little theme tune.
So proud of me.
Oh yeah.
Explain.
Explain.
I just think that like I was told very early in my career, take the emotion out of things, which is fine. And I hear it often. I hear it again and again. Like a lot of times when you pull like a man up on something, they're like, stop getting emotional. I'm like, no, just don't talk to me like a condescending prick, ?
Yeah.
But I find a lot of times, like even shitty emails or shitty attitudes or something like that are done off emotion for men. But with men, it's not seen as emotional. It's seen as like a different thing altogether.
That's true. It's just seen like,
it's just
me,
like
big man,
It's
boss.
like man being man.
Yeah.
Boss man.
Yeah.
Big man boss.
I am boss.
Yeah. You know, and I just think that.
That's very true.
And when a man falls, he falls hard, do you know, in that kind of way. Whereas like women almost are like, we're so used to this shit, you know?
Yeah. I think maybe women are just, you have to show me myself there.
What can I say, my little...
Yeah, that's very true. I think men just care less about stuff.
I think they care less about certain things,
like,
things that we care about, maybe.
As in, yeah, exactly. Like, maybe that's what I should have said earlier on, like, with the whole begrudgery thing. You know, like a bloke will just run around and go, you'll fucking sell out, and leave it at that. Log out of Twitter.
Yeah.
Whereas women will sit around and think about it for
And
a
be
while.
like, well...
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just care more about it.
Look, I think it's a very important thing to remember is like, I don't think that that's acceptable. I don't think it's acceptable to be like, stop being emotional about this. I'm like,
Oh, no.
no.
Yeah, that's very true.
No, because you're actually acting emotional by being a certain way toward me. So here we are.
That's very true. Good girl. You
Go get a bus.
very good girl. Yeah.
What was that?
Have you got a stamper?
I do.
All right, are you ready? Because the tune is very short.
Yes, I have it. Stomper of the week. This is called Edge of the Dark, but it's the Lanne, Lanne, accent on the E remix.
Did you have an accent on the E last week?
I've had a lot of accents on the E. Is this the same song?
I think it might be.
No. Let me check.
I don't know.
Stomper of the Week. Where's my playlist? I listen to Stomper of the Week playlist quite a bit.
You
Makes
had
sense.
you did.
Oh, it is. It's a different girl. It's not the same song. It's a
Okay,
different. She had a
okay.
little accent on the E too. I
Yeah.
don't know how to pronounce them. Maybe I should look that up for my musical taste.
Yeah.
Stop making a fucking fool out of myself. It's called Edge of the Dark. It's a Emmett Fenn and Lanne or whatever.
Lanne.
Lanne. Yeah, Lanne. Would that be Lanne?
Would it be Lanne?
Amaze.
I call them
Amaze.
fathers and elongate.
Fada on the Fada
Yeah,
on the but
fada on
France.
the E.
Fada on the E but French.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's it. It's just a good little bop, like great for the gym,
Okay.
good for driving,
Right.
great for driving.
Okay.
You
good
know?
stuff.
Speeding down the Mifty. Watch out for the vans. There's lots of them now.
Spurn.
Speeding down the Mifty. Listen to me. Stomp on the week playlist.
Very good.
Screaming my head off.
Brilliant. Right. Thanks for that.
Brilliant. Super.
great. That's
well done. You've tied that up nicely.
Lovely way to tie up the podcast. All the links for the stuff that we mentioned, like the Patreon and Stamper of the Week, and all will be in the description. Thanks very much for listening, and we will chat to you next week. Bye.